taco and a straw. It's time for Horchata. I'm your host, Jinx Scott, along with my co-host,
Krista Garza.
And we have once again got you a nice taco of a topic. We are going to talk about
Taco Bout.
Taco Bout. There we go. We're going to talk about with the puns. Sorry, people. It's a punny room.
This is what we do. If you don't like it,
I had a venti coffee from Starbucks today. I apologize.
Too much for you.
I finished that like 4 hours ago.
And you still wanted to get Starbucks after we're done.
I had a cup of coffee after dinner. Okay. So anyways, well caffeinated. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
All right. So anyways, getting to our topic. I know you guys are all waiting to hear this. Drum roll, please. Today's topic, whatever time of day you're listening to this, we are going to talk about copyright and art, right? So we got a lot of artists out there, and right now there is a lot of plagiarism going on with people stealing art concepts and trying to use it for their own, and especially in this day and age with social media, and people post their artwork online for other people to see and share with their fans and stuff, and then other people just screenshot it, save it, and then reproduce it as their own. And Krista, you're actually the one that came up with this topic. So what was your inspiration? What actually got you to think about this topic and want to focus on it today?
It's just been a topic that I've been seeing in the news a lot lately with a lot of various companies. Oh, you stole my logo, and oh, you stole my concept, and oh, you stole my artwork, and companies that are pretty well known, like H&M and Hot Topic and Zara and Redbubble. Like Redbubble legitimately stole this guy's artwork from I don't know if it was like his
the one you're
deviant
talking
art
about. Yeah, with the alien with the flower headband.
Yeah. And like Redbubble legitimately. The artist even said that it was like one screen cap away, like they just took away his watermark, and that's all they needed to do, and it's all over their merchandise. He gets no credit, he gets no money from it, he gets nothing, and they stole it.
Yeah, and we'll
flat out.
And we'll try to post a picture of this up on our Facebook page so you guys can see how similar these are. I mean, it's pretty blatant how close. It's not even a question.
Redbubble legitimately stole his artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Like his fans came to him and said, "Hey, do you know? Like this is on the website." It's slightly different than hot like so the video that I was watching. They drew the comparison between Hot Topic and Redbubble. Redbubble legitimately stole his artwork, whereas Hot Topic, they took like an alien head. Well, we will find the pictures, but Hot Topic took like an alien head and put flowers like underneath it. And the only thing that was the most similar to it was the wording, like "I'm too cute for this world" or something, but it was written in a completely different font. So that one is not so much of a ripoff because, like, he doesn't own the idea of an alien. Right. So that's kind of what we all wanted to get into today. And I think, Jinx, you found a very interesting...
Yeah. And that's, like, we're going to get into the difference between inspiration and blatant copying and reproduction. So, but first, I wanted to read this. This is according to the United States copyright law, right? So when is art considered copyright? Is it automatic? So this is according to the United States copyright law, and quoting from the copyright.gov website, your art is considered copyright protected from the moment it is created and fixed to a tangible form that is perceptible either directly or with the aid of a machine or device. So that's whether it's a drawing, whether it's produced on the computer, whether it's made of materials, an artwork that's made from materials, something physical that you can see and tangible. So that would include, of course, photography, which is one of my things, right? And
which is
we're going to get into that too. And this is a big topic for me, being a photographer, where a lot of people, you take pictures of their families and or their faces or their business headshots or whatever, and they don't understand why they need to purchase a copyright along with the digital images in order to get permission to reproduce it. A lot of times they want to just buy a print and scan it into their computer and reproduce it that way, or try to screenshot it on their computers and steal it that way. But that's actually copyright theft when people do that, and they don't realize that. They think because it's their image that or a picture of them that they should own it, but it's actually a form of art because it's created by an artist. Photographer is considered an artist, believe it or not. Yes, we do actually work and have skills, and there's a lot of thought and process and things that skills that we develop to make sure that you look good in the pictures. It's not just pointing a camera. But so that those are copyrighted because it's an artistry thing, and it's just because it's your face. I think about it, if an artist were to paint your picture, or a painter were to paint your picture, that you don't automatically own it because it is a painting of you, right? Because they're making you. They own that piece of art because they created it. So you can't just claim it because you're the subject in the art. So that's the same thing with paintings and stuff. So this is where it goes with pictures and photography.
Yeah. And the other interesting part of what I had originally watched, the video that I had originally watched, compared like when is it okay to reproduce things, such as when you are trying to learn an art style and be inspired by an art style versus flat out just taking it and literally tracing it.
And I actually have something to read on that as far as copywriting style. Copyright does not protect style. So it does protect art, doesn't affect or protect style. So the effect of this principle is that you cannot copyright a style or technique. Copyright only protects you from someone else reproducing one of your actual artworks, not from someone else coming up with their own work in the same style. So if you do something in a specific style of artwork or new technique that you come up with, like, let's say the melting crayons on, because I don't know why that just popped into my head, but you melt crayons with the hair dryer onto a canvas, and somebody else goes and does that. That's not copyright infringement. That's just style, right? So they're just using the same style or same technique that you use to create your art to make theirs. Now, if they were to go and reproduce it like exact copy replica of what you did, that is different. So, like with Manet, we have this clip here of explaining the difference between Manet, and it's hard to see. We'll pop this video up on Hochatta too, I think, on the Facebook page. But the difference between Manet painting, he took inspiration from some other artists to create two different artists to create his own thing, and you can see the inspiration in between the artwork. You can see like the lines and the setup and everything, but the way he painted them, like in the one, it's a nude painting, and then they have clothes on, and then there's this picnic painting he also used as a reference too, and you kind of see elements of that, but they are completely different works of art. He used them for inspiration, but not to just totally copyright. So
exactly,
there's a difference between, like, a lot of people when they're learning to draw, they copy other artists' work to try to learn. Like my daughter, for instance, she sits there. Her favorite comic artist is Stephen Pastis, and she sits there and she has practiced drawing his characters to get his style down, so that she can create her own characters. So now she's used his style to create her own character of herself. Like, so she has her own character that she draws, she calls Nikki Lightning, and that's her character. And she does other characters, a panther and all this stuff that she's created using that artist's style. But she's not using it, first of all, for selling. She's not selling these artwork or pieces of art. She's not going around trying to sell reproductions or trying to draw the Timmy Failure characters and making profit off of it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Which I know that a lot of comic artists get copied off of too, not just
true.
clothing. I mean, like Bill Watterson with Calvin and Hobbes. I mean, of course, it's notorious. He doesn't sell any products with his characters on it, yet you can still find products with those characters that you can extremely tell that it's a ripoff of Calvin and Hobbes. Back to people's trucks, all the time.
Right.
So that's the difference between between copyright and or copying somebody's artwork versus style and taking
Mhm.
inspiration from it.
And this video that we're going to repost it. But they also talk about more in depth what you were talking about, and they made a very good comparison about learning to draw and using that, or draw or paint or whatever, um, to learn and to copy, because it's important to absorb yourself in the art versus flat out taking it and using it for your own gain. But the problem is, and we touched on this earlier with social media and things like that, like even things like deviant art, like that are meant to protect artists and also let them show their creative works, that um, it can still be easily stolen from. All you have to do is remove the watermark. I
And
mean, literally, all you have to do is screenshot,
and it
and
is
you're boom, you
so
got it.
easy for like fashion designers and stuff to like Hot Topic
Yep.
and places
Mhm.
like and Spencer's. They find art in some, you know, somebody finds stuff, then that's cool. It pops it on a T-shirt. They sell thousands of them, and it's really hard for artists to
Mhm.
file claims and lawsuits because they're going to end up losing more money than they're going to make just filing these lawsuits. So one thing that people can do, like you, the audience out there, if you see this happening, like you see your favorite artist artwork, or you know somebody's blatantly being ripped off, contact the seller of the
Mhm.
product and let them know, hey, you know, you sometimes maybe the person who threw the concept out there didn't tell them that they copied it from somewhere. So the owners and you know, the Spencer's
Yeah.
or Hot Topic or wherever might not realize it's ripped off. So they make them aware that it's a stolen art thing.
Yeah.
Protest against it. Don't buy it if it's not, if you know it's not from the artist. You know,
Yes.
don't support that. Support your local artists and make sure you're
Exactly.
getting it from them. Um,
Something else I kind of wanted to touch on too is the idea of like concept versus actually stealing the art, right? So um you there's been a lot of disputes lately even about like logos looking exactly the same, right? So like let's say you've got I don't know, the moon in your logo, right? Well, do you own the moon? You know what I'm saying? Like that was a big thing. Um
but your interpretation of the moon and how you
is
draw it and
right,
paint it, yeah,
exactly, is different, you know. So and then the video that we're going to repost also talked about the glass artist in Hawaii, I want to say, where
mm,
he had come up with the idea of putting a jellyfish in a sculpture, and then like somebody else did the same thing, but the courts ruled against him. He tried to sue, and the courts actually ruled against him because he did not own the concept of putting the jellyfish in the sculpture. Like
yeah.
that's not an original idea. So I I definitely think that's also a very important distinction to make for sure. And it's a more prevalent problem than I think we even realize. I
Yeah.
think it happens right under our noses.
Yeah, and we definitely want to know what you guys think
Mhm.
about this and art and copyright. And you know, how do you feel about reproductions of artists? Do you like purchasing, you know, stuff at a cheaper price than what the original artist does because it's being mass produced by somebody else, and therefore, if the artist doesn't see any of that money, do you think that's right? Do you how What are your thoughts on that? Um, and do you feel okay with doing that, or do you feel guilty doing that? You can, of course, comment on our Facebook page, or you can at Horchata, or you can also email at us at horchatapodcast at gmail.com, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on it going forward and stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
And like I said, the topic I mentioned briefly earlier with photography, that's one that's close to my heart
I really
and
wanted to
makes
get
me
into that.
so mad. I mean, there was nothing that makes me more angry than people ripping off another artist's work, especially photography, because they think that you know they steal it off the offline and
Hmm.
take somebody else's artwork and think nothing of it. I have a friend situation
Oh.
which it's not her fault. So she brought her kids in, newborn pictures for her baby and everything. And she actually purchased the digital album and got the copyright, purchased the copyrights for it. So she owns the images. But a friend of hers decided, when she posted the pictures online for everybody to see on Facebook, a friend of hers went and illegally took the pictures off the line, off the website, and got the low resolution image with the logo with the copyright watermark on it.
Oh my gosh.
Cropped it out, or used Photoshop to try and get it out, but it's low resolution quality, and had a wall portrait made for her, a canvas in I think it was like a 10 by 13 or 16 by 12. I can't remember the size. But she warned me before I went to her house for her son's first birthday party. She's like, okay, when you come over, just so you know, there is a canvas on my wall. I didn't have it printed. I got the copyrights to it, but a friend did this, and it's from the low resolution, and it looks terrible, but it was a gift, and she's going to be there. And I'm like, I wanted to ask which one was it so I can go talk to them, because, and it looked horrible. First of all, the quality was not that great. And I know how beautiful these pictures are. And if her friend had just bothered to ask her, for the image, she would have been able to get her a better quality one if she had purchased the copyrights to it. But because she chose to go underhandedly and do it that way and bypass the legal things, that's where the problem came. So people, please, please, please don't do that. And we work hard to get those pictures for people, and it's just like a slap in the face when you do that to an artist. Whether it's photography, paintings, any other kind of art, I do not approve. Okay?
I don't either.
This is not a taco for me. This is hot sauce, people. This is hot sauce. Oh my gosh.
I'm kind of liking these concepts that we're coming up with here. Like, if we disagree, it's hot sauce.
Somebody put some hot sauce and a couple extra jalapenos on this taco, maybe a ghost pepper or two, because this is firing me up. I'm sorry. I lost my taco.
Angry. We better find your taco. But you know what? You know what? Actually, speaking of that story, that actually kind of reminds me of another very similar, but also kind of different other kind of issue. There is also a lot, like, anybody who knows me, I follow a lot of YouTubers, okay? And this is the thing. We already discussed about, like, sponsored videos and things like that. But what do you think when a company takes a product and manipulates either like their screenshots of their videos and or this is something I heard of recently, where a company actually like took their product, took another YouTuber who I follow, took her voice, cut it out of several different videos. Like, you could tell by even the audio quality that it wasn't the same video. And then they made it sound like, I love this product, blah, blah, blah. And this happens all the time, where they take somebody's images from like their Instagram or something like that, and they put it with like their product. Like they're using that product.
False, what you got? Not advertising. What is the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, no, I think it's false advertising.
No, somebody promoting a product, and I know everybody out there is probably shouting out the word for it. No, there's another word for it. But testimonials and stuff like that I use this product and I love it. Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing. And
it's another form of stealing art.
Actually, right now too, with the technology with audio, just recreating people's voices and videos to make it sound and look legit. I mean, there's a lot of that going on.
Yep.
Look at all the videos like you have of like people taking different like voices from like the president or whatever and making them into different music videos, like sing it like they're as if they're singing a song. It's pretty funny when using autotune. But
but that's also kind of different, because there is
copyrighted.
Fair use.
Your voice isn't copyrighted, is it? Or is a video, I guess, would also be considered a copyrighted thing, right? If it's your video, you own the rights to it and the audio within.
Right.
But it's also illegal to record somebody without their consent.
Depending on the state that you're in.
Yeah, true. So where, so this it gets a little tricky with the audio and the video side of it.
I just don't think it's right for a company to be taking somebody in their clip or their Instagram and making it look like they use that product.
Oh, yeah. So there's one other thing I wanted to get into as far as painting and copyrights artwork. And this actually happened in the studio recently that I work at, where somebody wanted to bring in their painting because they were planning on selling their painting. So they wanted us to take a picture of the painting so they could get the picture blown up to a wall portrait size so they would still have a copy of the painting they could put up on their wall as their own, but still sell the painting, right? So, and we were like, well, do you own the copyrights to the painting? So that because that's can
did
be
they
considered.
paint it?
No, he did not paint it. He had purchased it, and now he wanted a picture of it so he could sell it for profit or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, but he wanted a picture of it put up on his wall, and we asked him, "Well, do you have the copyright to it? Did you paint it yourself, or is is this another artist's work? And did you purchase the copyright to get it reproduced?" And he was like, "I purchased the painting." He's like, "So I own I own the painting. Why would I need a copyright? It's not. Why would I need that?" So this is something I actually looked up too. So do you own the copyright of a painting, right? If you purchased it. So here's what it says. Here's what I found out online. When you buy an original painting, you buy the physical object to have and enjoy. In most circumstances, you own only the artwork, not the copyright to it. So the copyright remains with the artist unless the copyright's expired, right? So with paintings, same thing with music, right? You might buy a music album, CD or MP3 or whatever.
Yeah, but
you
if
buy
you look
an album,
in the fine print, it says copyright, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
artist.
So the artist still owns it, but after 50 years or 100 years, whatever it is,
it's something like
too,
that.
You might buy a book, but you still can't. That's still copyrighted to the original artist or writer until X amount of years, so 100 years or whatever it is. I'd have to look that up.
And did you know who actually made that popular?
No, who?
Disney. It's all because of Disney. I watched another informative video on that. I will find it and I will post it to our Facebook page. It was quite interesting. It's the whole story about Disney. Disney wanted to hold on to the rights for certain things for them to be able to reproduce it. That's why we have that statute of limitations, because Disney.
Yep. So if you're buying a painting, it's the same as when you're buying other forms of art, whether it's a book or music. You don't own the copyright to it. You just own the object itself. So you don't have the right to reproduce it, copy it for profit. Now, I don't know how it stands with taking a picture of it and putting it on his wall as long as he's not selling that picture for profit. Probably not violating any laws, right? Because that's another thing. If you're taking a picture of a picture, is that a new art? Or is it the original art?
Oh no, so I'd say that's copying it.
Yeah, so is it a copy? If you're taking a picture of a picture and then printing that picture of a picture.
Although, wouldn't you say he was knowingly doing that though?
Yeah, it's definitely with intent, right? So he's doing it with intent. So how does that
is the distinction right there?
Yeah. So I guess that's another one. It's like, what do you guys think? We want to know. Like, do you guys have some stuff to add to this taco? We want to know. Like,
let's taco about it.
Yeah, let's taco about it, people. Let's hear your cheese, your lettuce, your cilantro and onions. We want it all.
We want it all. Hashtag cilantro made me do it.
Yes. Do you have some hot sauce to add to this topic? Is this making you all hot and bothered like me and getting all upset?
Oh yeah.
Who else needs some horchata to cool down, right? So we want to know what you guys think. So again, feel free to comment on Spreaker. You can comment on our Facebook page, and you can also email at us at Hochatta Podcast. That's Horchata with 2 T's. Chat it up. You gotta chat it up. Okay. Yeah. And let's talk about these topics.
Yeah.
And of course, as always, let us know if you have anything you want us to discuss. We've got some great topics that we are going to hopefully be bringing up in the next few weeks. We're going to be talking about service animals, the difference between the different types of service animals that are out there, and and what's okay and what's not okay and what's taking advantage of things for selfish reasons. So that's one of the topics we have coming up.
I think somebody else suggested books and podcasts.
Yeah, our
media.
favorite books and podcasts. We got some really great ones. I've got some great suggestions on podcasts. If you guys are wanting to actually get deeper into topics and maybe a little, I've the different topics and things you want to learn about and know more. Where I find my information and stuff that I find to be neutral. Some people might find a little more liberal. I don't know, depending. But they try to go from neutral. But anyways, we'll get into that on another thing.
That's a whole different
That's a whole different taco. That's a different taco. So tonight's taco, copyrights and copying. What's art theft and what you can do about it. So again, if you see somebody blatantly copying somebody's artwork and for profit and sale, go out, report it. Make sure that the artist knows what's happening, that the person who's reproducing and selling it, make sure that they're aware of it in case they aren't already. And so maybe they can stop it or let them know you don't approve of it and you're going to stop buying stuff from them if they keep doing that.
And support your local artists, shop them on Etsy or wherever it's being sold, depending on whatever medium it is. Make sure you're supporting the artist itself.
Yep. So this is Jinx. The cilantro made me do it, Scott. And Krista, along for the ride, Garza.
I'm in the shopping cart.
Oh, people, if you don't have Marco Polo, get on it. It's so much fun. But anyways, signing out. Keep on sipping, people. And we'll be back soon with our next episode.